my health got improved. Why all this such stuff happened all of a sudden is there is some science behind it. My question is, let's zoom in each and every point now. Our whole universe is made up of atoms and energy. 90% of such atoms is hydrogen. When some such hydrogen atoms starts involving in the nuclear fusion, that is how sun is about to likely deliver or produce thermal energy and light energy. If you zoom into the earth now, even earth is filled with hydrogen. How? We keep hearing 70% of earth is filled with water, right? And what is water? H2O, hydrogen is involved. And earth's crust, even we find hydrogen in form of hydrocarbons. But earth gravity is so poor to hold this hydrogen molecule in air, because hydrogen is the lightest molecule to contain in any space. That is why it is much in the interplanetary spaces. But ionizers reach to hold this hydrogen in our water. Thanks to Mr. Oshiro for bringing such wonderful technologies, one of the greatest contributions ever in this world. Let's zoom in further to us, human being. Every time we hear, if my gut is healthy, I am healthy. You know what? The most interesting story is our bacteria, healthy gut bacteria produces 12 to 13 liters of hydrogen gas per day. So hydrogen is everywhere in the universe, in the earth, in the human being. Let's go further in the microscope perspective. So hydrogen is not new to us. Hydrogen is part of us. Ionized water supplements it. Okay, we are getting H2 13 liters per day. Why we need to supplement much? There is a pattern. Let's get into the zoom into our cells now. We know that once we take nutrients, hormones as usually induced in the body, water and oxygen inside the powerhouse of the cell. What is the powerhouse? Is a mitochondria. Mitochondria process all these things and give the very thing first is adenosine triphosphate. If I'm using energy is nothing but ATP in chemical format. Now, apart of this, what we get out of the mitochondria is carbon dioxide and metabolic waste. And one thing which was not addressed in our educational system, it would have been addressed. We would have been very cautious since in our childhoods. That is free radicals. We called reactive oxygen species. Now my question is, once we take oxygen into the body, what we said, we get free radicals. What is the very first free radical inside a body? Don't bother about these terminologies, just understand the show of it. Very first free radical is superoxide anion. And you know what? When the free radicals produced by in the mitochondria, body has its own antioxidant response element, what we call ARE. It produces antioxidants to control this superoxide anion when it go more than the normal level. To control this one, body produces superoxide dismutase. Fine. We get in the process of cellular respiration, we get another free radical called hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. To control this, body produces catalase and glutathione peroxidase. In the process, we get hydroxyl radical. You know what? The very most shocking stuff. Once a person got born, he has to die and he has to age. This hydroxyl radical plays a vital role. And to the surprise, there is no defensive mechanism. I repeat, there is no natural defensive mechanism by the body to control this one. That is why antioxidants we have to consume from outside. And we know that food is only 30% to take and body is filled with 70%. So better than food, more chances for the body to take it in liquid form. That is how ionizer plays a very greater role. And the hidden truth for this healthy life is H2 molecule. Once we take ionized water into the body, you know what this hydrogen H2 becomes into 2H hydrogen pairs with hydroxyl radical. And what is H plus dot OH is H2O. That means we are drinking a safe water. Free radicals become into the water. That is also safe. That is how we are getting so much hydrated. We must be thankful to H2. Can you all type in the chat box? Thank you to the H2. Can you all type thank you there? This H2 makes all the show. And how this really works. And we know that, right? It has to supplement to the body. Why it does supplement? Thank you so much. And how it supplements in the body, understand the process. I'm going to give you 3 greatest insights. If you have got a chance, please take snapshots or the screenshots if possible. The very first one, smallest molecule. That is why the periodic table number 1 is hydrogen, right? H2 is such a smallest molecule, 50 picometers wide. Pico means 10 power minus 12. And what is our size of the cells? Micrometers. That is 10 power minus 6. That is small. Let me give much more analogy. Take a pick a strand of hair. Okay, I don't have. You pick it yourself. Pick a strand of pick it, and along the width of the hair, we can accommodate 30 lakh H2 molecules. Across the width of that particular strand of hair, we can accommodate 30 lakh molecules. You can understand how small this hydrogen molecule is. That is why hydrogen can pass through the blood-brain barrier. It does not require any permission to allow it or not. It just get into all the most antioxidant compounds like vitamin C, because hydrogen is 20 times smaller and 87 times lighter than the vitamin C, 61 times smaller, 190 times lighter than the vitamin D, and 132 times smaller, 427 times lighter than the coenzyme Q10. And all these are the antioxidants, predominant antioxidants. For some disturbance over there, fine. Now, that's the very first one. So it can get into any part of the cell. Second particular one, precision targeted effect. So make your spine straight. This is the crux of the story today. And I always say to the people, to be healthy human, we require vitamin C, of course. Vitamin C through fruits and vegetables is important. But hydrogen molecule through ionized water is urgent. Why it is urgent? Because our body's free radical becomes so dominant enough that vitamin C through the fruits and the vegetables is not adequate to combat such. And there is one interesting story inside the body. And we have said, during the cellular respiration, we get superoxide anion, we get hydrogen peroxide, and we get hydroxyl radical. All the radicals are not bad. Some free radicals are good, some free radicals are bad. Anything above the normal is not really good. If superoxide anion and hydrogen peroxide is as long as they are in the normal state, it is good for the body. In any form, lower or higher, whatever might be the amounts, hydroxyl radical .OH we don't want inside the body. It is the biggest killer of the cells of any metabolic activity. What is the C does is, it can't differentiate whether it is a bad radical or a good radical. So what exactly antioxidants do? They donate electron to the free radical to neutralize it. Vitamin C neutralize superoxide anion. Vitamin C neutralize hydrogen peroxide. Vitamin C even neutralize hydroxyl radical .OH. It does not go good or bad. It's only objective to donate electron and make it neutralize. But H2 is very selective antioxidant. It check whether a radical is on the good state or the bad state. What is the very first bad state? Hydroxyl radical. It address hydroxyl radical dot OH at the very first stretch. If the superoxide anion or the hydrogen peroxide is more than the normal level, required level, then only hydrogen address it, unless and until it doesn't touch at all. That means it always feeds the hungry, not everyone with the stomach full. You understand the logic, right? This is the second interesting story. And the third interesting story, the most important of all, why we have waited up this extent, is synergistic effect. What is the synergistic effect? Now, why the people always say to take good diet, to go for better exercises and all that stuff, to have a very good lifestyle? Because we want to make our body so as to produce to its own antioxidants, right? And what are those antioxidants we said? Superoxide dismutase, catalase, and glutathione peroxidase. You know what? Another most interesting story. The moment we sip ionized water, hydrogen waters all the way enter into the mitochondria level, and it trigger NRF2 pathway. Don't bother about the story. NRF2 pathway, and even it trigger ARE, antioxidant response element. When H2 molecule triggers antioxidant response element, it produces enough antioxidants. That means it upregulates the production of antioxidants. If free radicals are more, hydrogen not only donate electron, neutralize the hydroxyl radical, but along with it, it makes the ARE to get triggered and produce more antioxidants, where majority of the food like minerals and these antioxidants cannot do at that faster pace. That is why many people who drink these ionized waters are exhibiting their better health, because it is doing in a very great way. And you can take this a screenshot. Gist of all, what exactly H2 do, I repeat, the smallest molecule, it can go any point of the cell to, it only addresses precision targeted, only addresses the whatever they required, only harmful free radicals, but not every free radical. And it produces the antioxidant enzymes by our cells itself. Clear the point? And let me give one bonus tip, one interesting bonus tip. The very first one. Moment of we sip ionized water, hydrogen gas starts functioning within 10 to 15 minutes. Whatever the works it's do, triggers the antioxidant response element, or it changes the genetic expressions of aquaporins or the DNA or any good stuff this H2 does. It starts working on that. And exactly after 45 minutes, within 45 to 90 minutes, H2 starts escaping from our body. Some in the point of, as we said, in the process of neutralizing free radical, it becomes water, and remaining hydrogen gas molecule comes out of the exhale perspective. That means from the lungs. And we may think that, oh, H2 went away. But what exactly did, whatever the mechanism it's triggered inside the body, I repeat, whatever the mechanism it triggered inside the body, that mechanism will continue for days, weeks, and even months. That is how hydrogen is the most powerful antioxidant like in the whole world. You have to be so thankful to Mr. Ishiro. Because of his technological contribution, the whole mankind is having the greatest stuff. Let's make our world a healthy place to live, a healthy place to prosper. In this process, let me congratulate Mr. Shashi Iyer, Mrs. Arundhati Iyer, and the team of Penicia for your wonderful contribution and supporting the idea of Mr. Ishiro. Thank you so much. Yours, Raj Verma.